Welcome to our first ever weather forecast for Paetailia. And let me just remind you that we are here for you 24/7, reporting everything from the weather today, to the weather tomorrow, to the weather next week. Yay!
Today we will have a high pressure system, and next week we will have a low pressure system, which will bring rain and stormy skies. And this week in Paetailia, the high pressure system will bring not a lot of clouds, so the cloud cover is a minimum. Next week, since the air pressure will be lower, we will be experiencing lots of cloud cover. Wind is the movement of air from a high pressure system to a low pressure system. And today and the rest of the week we will have high winds. And the next week, when the low pressure system moves in, the wind will slack and will allow low pressure clouds to move in. A cold front happens when a large body of cold air overtakes a warm air mass and produces violent storms. A warm front happens when a warm air mass overtakes a cold air mass and produces heavy rains or snow in one area. This week we will have a warm air mass moving into our town with a surprising speed. Next week and the week after that, we will experience a cold air mass that ties in with the low pressure system, and it will bring short-lived violent storms.
Precipitation is water that falls from the atmosphere to Earth. It can come in four main forms: rain, snow, sleet, and hail. Rain falls to the ground for the same reason that any other object falls to the ground: gravity. Rain falls when the cloud is fully filled with water. Snow forms when the temperature is below 0 degrees and the air is supersaturated with water. Sleet forms when rain falls through a layer of freezing air. And finally, hail forms when convection currents carry water droplets up to altitudes where they freeze, then they fall back down again, then it carries them up again, then it falls until they're too heavy to fall ever again. And this week we will have very little precipitation, but next week, the following week, we'll have lots of precipitation that ties in with our low pressure system. We will have dew and heavy clouds. Temperature is the measure of how hot or cool something is. The temperatures that we will be experiencing this week are between 15 degrees and 20 degrees, while next week all our temperatures will drop to below 10 degrees Celsius. Wind chill is the lowering of temperature due to the blowing of the wind. So if the temperature were 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind was blowing at a speed of 10 miles per hour, then the wind chill level would be 27 degrees Fahrenheit.
Since our fine land of Paetailia is near the sea, we will also endure some land and sea breezes. In case you didn't know what those are, they are breezes that form when the air is warmer than the water, or vice versa in the daytime when the land is warmer than the water it gives heat off of. And the cool air from the sea moves in to replace it. At night, when the water is warmer, it also gives off heat. Then the warm air from the sea rises and the cool air from the land blows it. This makes the cool breeze that flows from the land to the sea.
Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air at any given time. Relative humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air compared with the amount of water vapor that the air could hold at that particular temperature. This week we will have a relative humidity of about 10 grams of water vapor in the air right now. Since the air can hold up to 20 grams of the water, our relative humidity is 50%. Next week, with our low pressure system, our relative humidity level will rise to 25 grams of water, and the air will be holding 22 grams, so that the relative humidity will be 88%. Have you ever woken up, gone outside, and wondered why the water droplets are on the ground? It's called dew. Dew forms when the water vapor above the ground cools in the night air and condenses on the ground. A dew point is when the clouds get full with water and they have to let it out on the grass. Just last night, when Hurricane Alice hit south Brazil, it destroyed the whole town, including the church in the town of Pisa, which was full of worshippers at the time. Of all the 50 participants in the church at the time, 10 of them lost their lives, while the rest of the 30 were severely injured. Let's all have a moment of silence for those worshippers in Brazil, and thank God that no further lives have been harmed. That just about wraps up our first forecast, and thank you for watching. We hope that you will be aware of the new weather coming in our way and have a good evening. Good night.